Been a little more than a year since we showed you this dramatic video of a man being airlifted during the Weiser flooding. The floodwaters severely damaged several homes in their path. KBOI2's Haley Kramer met with that man today, and she's live. She's in Weiser to talk about the possibility of this possibly happening yet again.
Bill Shanahan was airlifted out of his home here on Cove Road, the area that saw the most damage in last year's flooding. Today, you can still see some of the damage left from the floodwaters.
It's pretty disheartening and stuff.
This is what Shanahan's home looks like now, 1 year after 2 feet of water rushed in. He says he was able to move back in about 4 months, but the damage was devastating.
Mold, water, stuff, everything had to be scrubbed and scraped. A lot of stuff got thrown away.
Today, floors are torn out, his belongings stacked randomly inside and outside his home. A layer of mud still covers most of the yard. Shanahan says last year he was woken up early by a neighbor to find his property surrounded. He waited on the only dry surface, his bed, for hours, then eventually airlifted him out. Shanahan has lived in his home for more than 25 years and says that wasn't the first time this has happened. County Commissioner Kirk Chandler says the homes on Cove Road have flooded several times and knows it will happen again.
It was in '97 we were flooded worse then than we were last year. So it's something that happens pretty regularly over time.
Today, most of the damage to Cove Road has been fixed.
The flooding last February washed a lot of spots out of that berm, basically broke levees, but they're really not levees, they're just the riverbank. And so our flood district in the county has repaired most of those breaks that are critical to keeping the river in its channel.
Commissioner Chandler says those homes in the area had water come through the back, not over the road. He says any changes made to the road could make the future flooding worse.
The reality of the situation is if you fix spots that you could fix, then it will force all the flood water into the town and flood a lot worse than it is. So you've got to kind of measure what you can do and what you can't do by what the effects of it will be.
If you don't do something with the river, what good's it going to do? You could have a bridge 20 miles wide, but the river's only going to hold what it'll hold, and it's going to flood.
The commissioner tells me the state is looking into building the Galloway Dam for reasons beyond the flooding, but says if it was built, it would stop flooding to the majority of the Weiser Valley. Live in Weiser, Haley Kramer, KBOI2 News.